Hello, Fantasy Faithfuls, and welcome back to the CSD Fantasy live stream. We are back for 2019. YouTube has changed a ton how they do live streaming for whatever reason. So I can't see the comments right now. I'm gonna change some things up real quick. I know you can still hear me. It's going to be the logo running for just a second because for some reason the chat is just gone. And that is not what we want. There we go. I have the chat in a separate window. Poker Lemon, hello, how you doing? Happy to have you on board on the stream. Hope everything is good with you. And I am back on screen as well. I hope that audio is good and that y'all can hear me. Usually I'll wait a few minutes here before I start answering questions. Get me some coffee. For more CSD Fantasy content, you can go to csdfantasy.com and check out all the projections, scheme fit videos, snapshot videos, all that good stuff on the website. You can check me out on Twitter, where I'm going to start posting score projection charts next week as usual, with more info and all the updates with waiver wires on Tuesdays and score projections on Thursdays. And you can check out my Patreon page if you want personal score projections or just exclusive content. There's a link down in the description. Demetrius Bird, what's going on? Happy to see you. How you doing? Welcome back. Shane, all good with you? Oh, that's a tight end question right away with a rookie involved. I will make a disclaimer. Rookies will not have any projections until week 5, so I will try to stay away from answering too many questions on rookies. You can see that I had a question up earlier with Delaney Walker and Joku and Olsen, and Waller was included in that, but I had to remove him from the group. Sanders to me, what's up? How's it going? Audio's perfect, man. Thank you so much. Yes, week 1. I'm so freaking happy to be back watching some good football this week. I'm so excited, and this is going to be a great season, I believe. So we have some questions already in. I have a bunch lined up on Twitter, but let's start with Shane, who gets the first one with Austin Hooper and Mark Andrews. I can't type. There we go. We have, and for week 1, I tend to value the floor and ceiling a little bit more than the other stats, as we haven't seen the defenses. So won't be going here too much. You see, I've whited out the strength of schedule, but opponent rank and points given up is a little bit more up in the air, as they've done a lot of changes to their teams. So we'll be more focused on these 4 categories for week 1. And Mark Andrews has the high floor, but the ceiling is very high for Austin Hooper. But there's a good chance for Boomman with Mark Andrews, but also bust. So you can... this one is difficult because there's so high of a bust chance for that 1.2 floor with Mark Andrews. But still a good boom chance for both of them, even though Austin Hooper's ceiling is a little bit higher. I would roll with Austin Hooper thanks to that ceiling. Get a good start in week 1 with a high-scoring tight end against Minnesota. Cowboys or Broncos defense, 2 defenses that I like a lot this week. With Broncos looking to be the better pick, I'm actually starting the Cowboys in 1 league. But I believe, and I had the Broncos pretty high on my seasonal rankings as well. I think they're the better defense for week 1. With a higher ceiling, a little bit lower floor, but that's okay with DST. Almost no bust chance. I mean, the bust chance is much higher for the Cowboys, even though they only have 0.4 points higher floor. So I would roll with the Denver Broncos, even though I'm a homer. Let's see what we else got. Yeah, we're back. I'm so freaking excited. Yeah, no, I remember you, Demetrius. I'm so happy to have you back. I'll see a couple of other names that I recognize. John Ovens, happy to have you on board as well as last year. Poker Lemon, you were the first one in here, so let's get your question up on the board. Philip Lindsay, one of my favorite running backs of the year, or Damian Williams. I know this is going to be Lindsay. I almost typed Lindsay twice. I'm not high on Damian Williams as other people are. I am extremely high on Philip Lindsay. I'm starting him in all leagues that I own him, and I've tried to draft him in pretty much every draft I've been. I think he's going to be fantastic. He has the best. He fits the mold of a productive running back the best together with Kerryon Johnson. So I'm extremely excited about him for 2019. Demetrius, Broncos of Dallas DST. Oh, I thought I got that one up on the board. Nick Fernandez, hey CSD, don't know if you remember me, but I do remember you. But I've been waiting to catch up with one of my favorite friends. Oh, thank you so much for including me as one of your favorite fantasy streams. Thank you, Nick. I do remember you. Happy to have you on board. Sherman, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. Dan, happy to have you on board again. And those are everybody who's new on the stream here today. This is fantastic. Red X, nice to see you again. I remember you from Monday. That was a fantastic stream we did with the live draft, Red X. Let's get in with Sherman's question. Mike Evans or Julio Jones? Mike Evans or Julio Jones? There's talk that Julio will see limited snaps here. I live in Atlanta, and they're a little bit worried here, even though he signed that big contract. I said I wasn't going to look too much on the opponent's rank, but in general, San Francisco has been giving up a ton of points to wide receivers compared to Minnesota. Other than that, they're pretty even in floor, higher ceiling for Julio Jones. How come you're starting Mike Evans or Julio Jones? What type of team do you have, Sherman? Please post all wide receivers you have on your team. I'm very curious because that's freaking... To even be choosing between Julio and Mike Evans for week 1 is crazy. But I would start Julio and just go to the schoolyard with him. Even though I love Mike Evans as well. 2 fantastic picks and some of my highest ranked wide receivers. Dan, you're worried about Diggs with the hamstring. I have Dante Pettis, Landry, and Breida. One of those worth playing over Diggs. I was actually going through the same corner with Diggs. I have him as a must start if the hamstring was good on the score position article on Thursday. But as it looks more and more like he is sort of dealing with that injury, and I've dealt with a lot of hamstring injuries in my day, I'm a little bit worried about him. And I actually moved Dante Pettis into that role. So let's see what we got. Let's bring up all of them. And Matt, Breida. And to get some safe points, I would roll with Landry. But if you want that nice upside, and I did want that upside, I went with Pettis. He is, together with Lindsay and Kerryon, one of my absolute favorite players of 2019 to draft. So I have him in pretty much every other league as well. So I would roll with Dante Pettis this week for upside. And Jarvis Landry for safety if I want to go that route. But you can see why Stephon Diggs would be the best pick if he wasn't dealing with injury concerns. Other than that, Pettis for upside and Landry for safety, depending on what you would like to do and how your team is kind of structured. Sander is me, Pettis, Christian Kirk, Corey Davis, in what order? Struggling with this one. I will probably put Corey Davis at the bottom because I know myself. And I know Corey Davis. Let's see. 5.5, yes. Lowest floor. Second lowest ceiling. Low boom chance. Very low bust chance, so that's good. But if you have a floor of 0.4%, 0.4, you should have a 0.0 bust chance. Come on, freaking Corey Davis. He is my least favorite fantasy player. If I love Dante Pettis and Philip Lindsay, I despise Corey Davis. I've never drafted him in the last, I don't remember how many years, since he got in the league pretty much. I was more of a Rashard Matthews fan on that team if I was going to get one of the receivers. And Corey Davis has been an object of mine to try to have people not draft over the last 2 years. Even to the point where I was accused of trashing him so much because I wanted him to myself. Which is funny because would not want him on my team at all. Demetrius Bird again, Prater, Matt Prater, or Robbie Gold. Hope I'm spelling that right. Yes. Oh, this is an even one. And a kicker question. I love a good kicker question. It's not every day we get those, and I'm a huge kicker fan. I don't play in fantasy leagues that remove kickers. Huge kicker fan. It might be my European roots. So let's see this one. High projection for Prater. Higher floor. 1 point lower ceiling, but a massive boom chance on that one. I'm going Matt Prater in this instance. He's safer. Low-key the same ceiling, but outscoring that ceiling, 12.5% is massive. And I tend to like Prater as a sneaky pick for kicking. He's been kind of undervalued for a lot of years. Red X, your first question of the day. Albert Wilson or Jarvis Landry? Whoops, Jarvis Landry. Yes, it's going to be Landry for me in this game. I know you're a Dolphins fan. I can see that even from your tag, but I would start Jarvis Landry anyway. And even though he would be viewed as a traitor, low-key, to your team, I guess. I don't know if you call that here in the US. If somebody switches team in Europe, they tend to become a traitor in soccer pretty quickly. Even nicknamed Judas. But I would start Jarvis Landry in this case. Let's go real quick before I hit Shane's question over to Twitter, where I know I have some questions lined up with Jacob Landers, one of our regulars on Twitter. That was just a trade question, so he wants to know if he should trade White now that, and bless you, baby, now that the Patriots got Antonio Brown. And I say no. I still think he has a role on that offense. I'm not that worried. I wasn't that high on James before. So let's go to a start set question. Who should I start at my flex? From Evan Jenkins. He's also one of our regulars on Twitter. Who should I start at my flex? Sony Michel, Tevin Coleman, or Damian Williams. Williams is going to be the last one here for me. Higher floor for Coleman, much higher ceiling for Michel. And you know, I'm worried about both those offenses due to the fact that they've kind of stacked on running back on each case. So I will have to go with Michel on this one, because that ceiling is so much higher. Let's do like we do when it's a Twitter question and post it there saying Sony Michel for me for week 1. And let's get back to the YouTube chat. I know what we said, Shane, so let's get Damian Williams on board with Mark Ingram. I don't need to move Tevin Coleman. I can pick 2. I'm so happy to hear that you won a championship. That's the best praise I can get. Thank you, Shane. I'll try to do my best again this year to help all of y'all win. Unless you're playing against each other, that I know some people did last year and both came on here to try to get help. Was it you, John Owens, and your friend y'all were on and trying to have me give bad advice to the other one? I can't remember who it was. It was hilarious though. So I need to pick 2 for PPR between these 3. And like I said, I'm not that high on Damian Williams. It would be better in PPR, though, than Mark Ingram, I would assume. I haven't done my PPR rankings, which I'm sorry about. It's been a lot as I've put out video content every day for the last 2 weeks. But for 10.1, 10, and 41 for that's crazy close in projection and risk. Higher floor for Coleman, higher ceiling. I would roll with Coleman and Ingram, and I do love Mark Ingram. He is the back that ran the 3rd most in the B gap last year. The only 2 that ran more was Gus Edwards and Alex Collins. I wonder what team they played for. The Ravens. Where did Mark Ingram go? The Ravens. It's a perfect fit for him. I think he's going to be great on that offense. Just ground and pound the ball with Lamar Jackson. I think that's a fantastic fit. So I would go with Coleman and Ingram in that case. Nick, Matt Breida, Duke Johnson. I wonder if I have him as junior. No. And DJ Moore as flex. Let me just double check one thing real quick. Let's switch to the stream start real quick, as I have to make sure that the projection is correct. Yes, it is. Let's get back to the stream. I just wanted to make sure that Duke Johnson had been swapped team in my algorithm. You can see that I'm not ecstatic about him. How many did you want? As one as flex, I will go with Breida. I love his running style. A fantastic player. Same floor, higher ceiling, low bust chance. A pretty good boom chance though. Tough defense though. I will go with Breida. I'm not a huge DJ Moore fan as of now. He might prove me wrong this year, but his numbers haven't really showed me a stable fantasy score as of yet. Poker Lemon, most underrated. Thank you so much. I hope to change that underrated someday to just be a great fantasy football channel and not underrated. But I've had a lot of really nice things said about my channel in the last couple of weeks, so I really appreciate every kind words y'all are saying. I try to do my best and help out and be as transparent as possible with my advice, and keep the channel as close to the ground as possible. Stay away from feelings and biases. Some will come in. I will not pick Shady McCoy, for instance. I have my reasons. AB, you kind of want to stay away from him. Feel like he kind of condoned school shootings yesterday, and that rubs me the wrong way. I think that's a weird statement to come out day before the NFL starts. So some people I just don't draft, even though AB would be my highest ranked player, especially with the Patriots. That's just crazy. But I appreciate the kind words, and I try to create the best fantasy football content I can, and I'm very happy you all like it. Dan, no worries. Happy to help. Just keep the questions rolling, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. We have a question from Poker Lemon. And it's Big Ben. I'm actually going to copy his name real quick to make it quicker. Matty Ice. Ooh, I'm starting Matt Ryan in one league. I just traded away Russell Wilson. Let's see. High projection for Ben. Higher floor, which I said I value the floor and ceiling much more for week one than I do the projection and the opponent rank as well. So here I would start Matt Ryan over Ben, even though the projection is 0.9 point higher. His floor is higher, which is extremely valuable for quarterbacks, especially early on. He has a higher bust chance, but also a higher boom chance for the roughly the same ceiling. So I will start Matt Ryan, even though he usually starts the season pretty slow. The floor is the most important thing early on, because that represents a holistic view of somebody more than the projection. The projection is it takes into account more what they did last year. The floor takes into account, of course, and puts emphasis on what they did last year, but it also shows a holistic view of the player over the last couple of years. So that's a little bit more truthful to who they are. So I would start Matt Ryan. Sandra said, you're very welcome. Happy to help. If you have more questions, Sandra SB, just keep them coming. Jason Sanders. Do I even have him? Yes, I do. Or Cowboys kicker. Brett Maher. Let's see. High projection, high floor, high ceiling, higher bust chance, lower boom chance. I'm okay with that. I would roll with Brett. and he'll probably kick 350 plus and then miss 2 extra points. That's what he does. Yes, I miss the robotic Dan Bailey when he was Dan Bailey, and it was just, oh, it's a kick, oh, that's points, always points. Brett Maher is like, holy crap, he's gonna break the record for longest Cowboys kick, and then he'll miss 3 extra points. But I would roll with Maher. Demetrius, keep Matt Bryant at quarterback against Vikings, or drop Hyde or Chris Thompson for Rivers or Cousins. Oh, that's a good one. I believe. I'm gonna show that one. Everybody, look at the latest comment. Just take a look at it. Let's see, Matt Ryan or Kirk Cousins or Philip Rivers. Matt Cousins, Matt Ryan. I can't type and talk at the same time. So what we got here, Matt Ryan still has the highest floor, but it's a perfect situation for Cousins. I'm starting Cousins in 3 out of, I don't know how many leagues, but I'm starting Cousins pretty much everywhere. And this would be, I guess you would drop one of the running backs to pick up a quarterback and then stash Matt Ryan. I do like that floor of Matt Ryan. I'll still trust him more than I do trust Cousins. I can't go against my numbers and say start any of the other guys. So I'll have to start Matt Ryan over Cousins. Even though I'm starting Cousins, Matt Ryan is not available in my leagues. He's been drafted like 7 rounds ahead of Cousins. Not 7, but you know what I mean. So I'll have to start Matt Ryan. And the comment I wanted y'all to see is from Kaya Dunger, who is now my wife. So I wanted to shout her out. Thank you so much, baby, for commenting. She's in the other room that yelled bless you to earlier. I know y'all we haven't been live streaming, and y'all probably remember we being away from each other last year, so I'm very happy. Thank you so much, everybody. I just wanted to shout her out a little bit. And then let's get back to fantasy football. Red X, a lot of Dolphins don't talk about Landry unless they're asked questions about him. Yeah, that's how it is, right? You don't want to mention the players who abandon your team, especially when it's somebody who, you know, kind of was not a leader, but maybe the face a little bit for the outside. There are 9 people watching and only 2 likes on this video. Everybody like this real quick. Oh, that's what she was saying. Oh, thank you so much, Dan, as well. Yes, please leave a like. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, just hit that subscribe button. It helps a ton with promoting the channel and keep people engaged is the word I'm looking for. Because this is something I'll do for fun, but also something that I hope to grow for the future to provide more value for everybody out there. Yeah, appreciate the shout out, Dan. Shane, League 1, Cam or Jimmy G. League 2, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Matt Stafford. Okay, quarterbacks. Newton. I've such a struggle for me to pronounce that. Garoppolo, and difficult to spell that one. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Matthew Stafford. Let's see. Highest floor for Cam, second for Jimmy G. Lamar, this is the fun thing about Lamar Jackson. His numbers are so impacted by the first games when he was just brought on the field. So you can't take this one seriously. I'm still working on a fix for this because his number should actually be around 10.5, I believe, in floor, and 24.6 in ceiling. But I don't want Let's do like a Lamar Jackson fake one here, because I think it's supposed to be that and 24.6. So he would have the third highest ceiling here and the second highest floor, which would put him just behind Cam. But I guess that's not the question there. So it would be Cam in the first league, and then it would be Lamar Jackson in the second league by quite a lot, because his floor would be so much higher than Josh Allen, even though Josh Allen's ceiling is just bonkers. I think Lamar Jackson's ceiling is 24.6 is really good for what he does. So I think he's the best play in that one. I kind of wish I got Lamar Jackson in a couple of leagues. I was not able to pick him up, which is unfortunate, as I do think he's going to be a fantastic fantasy quarterback this year. And then we got Dak Prescott from Ethan. Welcome to the stream, Ethan. Happy to have you on board. Did you ask anything before? No, that's your first one. Awesome. Dak Prescott or Cam Newton? What did I do? Cam Newton. There we go. Higher floor for Cam, higher ceiling. It's difficult. I can't, even as a Cowboys fan, I can't say start Dak over Cam. It would be if the news about injury for Cam, but he's feeling good for week 1 is the latest, so we have to take that as the truth and go with it. I think I would. Well, I know I would start Cam over Dak, even though I am a homer. And Singletary, guys, not starting either. Just curious. Oof, I don't have any projections. Do I have projection for Darius, guys? No. Did I even spell that right? I believe I don't have for either of them. I have drafted Singletary in a few. I think they are a better run offense than the Redskins, and I would try to stay away from the Redskins a little bit right now and start Singletary. I don't have a prediction, as I said before, week 5, but that would be my move. And then again, Poker Lemon, Ethan, thank you so much. Ethan, let's get Dak or Cam. Yes, Cam would be my pick of those two. Matthew Grella, welcome to stream. Happy to have you on board. Let's get, that's Miles Sanders. I see him, rookie, so he won't be having a projection until week 5 due to how the algorithm works. But Robbie Anderson is high risk, high rewards player. I would probably start him for that ceiling. 14.1 is one of the highest ceilings for wide receivers out there. Especially, not like if you compare to Julio, but I mean, for what he is, his ceiling is very high. It's a tough defense, but I like what he can do. You might just get 3 receptions for, 80 yards and a touch, which is fantastic. So I think I would start Robbie Anderson. I don't really trust the Eagles' run game. They're sort of like the Patriots, where you just don't really know what's going to happen, which is not conducive to score projections. Shane, no problem. Happy to help. As I said, Reddick, you getting ready for the Dolphins game. They start at 1. I haven't really looked at who starts at 1. I'm just going to watch everything today until Sunday Night Football, where I will log off and try to get some work done before Monday. I just know the Cowboys play at 4:25. Poker Lemon, CSD, do you play DFS? Yes, first time this year, as now I am actually available. I am allowed to play DFS. Last year, staying in Sweden, you are not allowed to play DFS on FanDuel and DraftKings. Now that I live here, it's no problem, so I've started to play. I will do more DFS content with score projections and try to show the lineup that I have for DFS for FanDuel, if you go to csdfantasy.com, let me bring it up on the screen. You can actually you can help the channel by signing up for FanDuel right now by going to csdfantasy.com and use this little button right there. I know you can only see half of it, but if you look at the score projection, go to the website, scroll down, and you see deposit 20, get 20. Just a nice way to help the channel to create even more content. But I will focus more on DFS this year. Reg, I have two quick. Ethan, first, you're welcome. Happy to help. As I said, just keeps the question coming. It can be anything. It can be like Poker Lemon that asks about DFS or whatever you feel like. But we're gonna try to keep it to fantasy. And then if y'all just have random questions, I'm cool with that too. You have two questions. Who is the dumbest head coach and who is the dumbest general manager? Dumbest head coach. Can I add in who is the weirdest player and dumbest player as well? Let's start with that. Weirdest, Antonio Brown. Dumbest, Jared Goff. Who doesn't know the sun freaking rises in the east and sets in the west? I'm still hung up on that. But dumbest head coach. Oof. I mean, I kind of want to come for him a little bit, so I have to say Jason Garrett. Just like, freak, what are you doing sometimes? Just if you play 3 drives and you seek in the 3rd drive every time, the other team knows that. It's not that it's if you do it every game, it's not a surprise, and the other coach can scheme for it, and they know it. Like, oh, Zeke is sitting, let's arrest one of our star players. Like, rest him if he needs a rest him the 2nd drive or whatever you want to do sometime, but just don't rest him the 3rd drive every freaking game. That's just dumb. That's just dumb. Dumbest GM, I believe, would have been. Oh, what's the guy's name? Gettleman before, but now people are like hyping him up because of the Jones pick. First, people were just like, "Oh, he's an idiot," but now you just don't know what the crap is going on. But dumbest. It's weird to say Mike Mayock, but I have to go with him right now because they should have known better not to get AB on that team. They should have known better. I mean, why leave that secure gig as the draft guru to go and join Gruden and the Raiders? I mean, maybe I should pick Gruden as the dumbest head coach too, because like, what the crap are they doing in Oakland? And then they're about to go to Vegas, and they have to create this. I don't know, not new brand, but you know, they have to do something new to make people excited, and I don't think people are excited about the Raiders right now. John Owens, Dalvin Cook or Chris Carson for this week? So Chris, I know the answer to this one already because I did it in one of my leagues, and it's Chris Carson. I do like Dalvin Cook, but I think Chris Carson just edges him out just slightly this week. He has a 1 point higher floor, low-key the same ceiling, a little bit higher bust chance, but a higher boom chance. Both of them play terrible run defenses, and I like both. I'm sitting Dalvin Cook for Chris Carson in one of my leagues, so you can be sure that I'm giving you the same advice that I would be giving myself. Do I play Chris Carson in DFS? Yes, I believe I do. By the way, we can bring up real quick just so you see who my highest ranked running back is for the week, which is interesting. Jesse LB, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. This is your first question. Drop Emmanuel Sanders. I'm guessing, have I missed somebody, or is that Christian Kirk? Julian Edelman, Tyron Williams. Standard League. Start 2. Drop one, and then Sam Cameron or Edelman or Tyler Williams. Then at least start two. What, you need to drop one of them and start two. Did I get that correct? I'm gonna bring up all of them, but you can just clarify. You need to drop one and start two of these four. I'm struggling with the typing today, as you might see. Man. Yes, there we go. Tyrell Williams. Yes, start two and drop one. So that would be Christian Kirk that I'm... No, wait. Well, I'm starting Edelman, definitely. 100%. And I am starting Sanders and dropping Kirk. Even though he has the lowest floor, Williams used to have a sneaky high floor. This has just gone down in the last 2 years, which is interesting. But he used to have a sneaky high floor for what you were paying for him, and I think he can rise up. And now he has less competition for targets on that team. So I'll have to drop Christian Kirk. I do like Sanders. I think he's undervalued with Flacco. Flacco is not like some fantastic quarterback, but he's gonna at least get the ball to some players. Before Lamar Jackson took over, Smokey Brown was freaking fantastic, and he was one of my highest ranked wide receivers week in and week out on the waiver wire because Flacco was just feeding him the ball. I think Sanders can be that guy. I'm actually pretty high on Cortland Sutton as well, as his receiving receiving trends are fantastic. He just needs to catch the ball a little better, gain a few more yards per catch. But I think he can grow, especially with Flacco. So that was Jesse's question. I hope I answered that one correctly to your liking. Let's see. CJ, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. That's your first question as well. Jacobs or Eckler for flex? I have Eckler as a high risk, high rewards player this week. I've always been a huge Eckler fan, but I'm very careful with overhyping him for week one. I would probably roll with Jacobs. I don't have any projection for Jacobs. And I know we're running close to kickoff. It's only 20 minutes left, but I had a video come up yesterday on the channel with Eckler versus Tevin Coleman. I had Tevin for week one and Eckler for the future until Gordon comes back. He says he's going to report between week 6 and 8. So you can still roll with Eckler from 2 to 6 and be happy. I think Eckler is still going to be valuable even with Gordon back. He catches so many passes, so in PPR he's going to be fantastic. But for now, I would roll with Jacobs, even though I don't have a projection for him. I'm trying to be a little careful with Eckler for week one. Dumbest owner. Dumbest owner. What is the guy's name? The Brown family? Mike Brown, owner of the Cincinnati Bengals. Mike Brown. I mean, they were okay with being mediocre or like getting to the playoffs for so many years. They're like, oh, this is the NFL, it's about winning. They were like, no, it's about chilling, making money, just being happy with being mediocre. If you've ever listened to Around the NFL podcast, Dan Hansis, Mark Sessler, Chris Wessling, and Greg Rosenthal, they talk about the primary rating on quarterbacks. If you have Andy Dalton or better, you're good at quarterbacks. If you have Andy Dalton or worse, you need to upgrade. Dalton is just in the middle all the time, that you don't know if you need to upgrade or if you're good. And that's sort of what the Bengals are doing as well every year. They never just tank and rebuild and like, we're going to stay mediocre for always. And it's frustrating. Yeah, so Jesse, I would have said Christian, yeah. Nicholas Camilleri. I hope Camilleri. I have no idea how to pronounce that. And I'm sorry about that. Nicholas, welcome to stream. Happy to have you on board. That's your first question. Fantastic. Tyler Lockett, one of my favorite from last year. Tyler Lockett and Curtis Samuel, who's been super hyped, but I'm not sold. I'm starting Tyler Lockett. No questions asked. He has a higher floor, higher ceiling, high bust chance, but 2.5 versus 0.9, so I'm okay with that. And for everybody who doesn't know, the bust chance is connected to the floor, so that's the risk of them being below the floor. And boom chance is the probability of them being above the ceiling, 13.2. And the risk is connected to the projection, so that's the risk of them not reaching the projection. But I would start Tyler Lockett pretty convincingly over Curtis Samuel. So thank you for that question, Nicholas. Again, let's ignore Twitter questions. We have so many in the chat, and we only have 18 minutes to kick off, people. I hope everybody is excited. Please type in the chat who you're supporting for this week, so I get to know everybody a little bit better, what teams they follow. I know Redx is a Dolphins fan, for instance. Please just type your team and let me know. John Owens, Njoku or Waller. Oof. Again, with a rookie, people have been asking me about Waller all week, and I have to disappoint and say I honestly don't know about him that much, since the algorithm doesn't provide that information with rookies. I like Njoku-ish. I'm not super high on him. He has a tough opponent in Tennessee for week 1, but I think they're going to come out and just try to make a statement. So I wouldn't be surprised if he caught a touchdown. They have to focus on Landry and OBJ, and that probably is going to leave something open for Njoku to catch one. So I would start him. That offense is stacked, though. Holy crap. Jesse LB again. Sutton or Sanders? Manuel Sutton or Cortland Sutton? For week 1, I'm going Sanders. Season long, I think Sutton will overtake Sanders, but I think both are going to be decent in fantasy. Nothing fantastic. Absolutely nothing fantastic, but they will be decent. Flex type wide receiver 3 numbers. Top 30 perhaps for both, but most likely not top 20 for either of them. That's sort of what I have in mind for them. Sutton or Will Fuller from Poker Lemon. So we add Will Fuller to the mix, and that's the guy I would play just because of that 15.1 ceiling compared to 9.6 for this week. 15.1 is high, like really high, and we know he only needs to catch 2 balls, and he'll take it for like 70 something. I would start Will Fuller. So much upside with him, so much upside. But I mean, you also have to be okay with him being terrible or getting hurt halfway through the game. But Will Fuller is he's special when he's healthy. So Redx, yes, you're a Dolphins fan. Jesse, Broncos. Momentum wins. Oh, nice to see you again. That's been a while. Happy to have you on the stream again. Start Sony Michel or Derrick Henry. I'm guessing that it's not Hunter Henry. So let's see what we got. Sony Michel has a high projection, high floor, high ceiling. Almost same bust chance, higher boom chance. It's a no-brainer for me. But I also gave Derrick Henry one of my lowest draft grades. I don't remember if I gave him a D or a D minus. I just did not want him at the price you were paying for him, and I wouldn't start him over Sony Michel for anything this week. I think he is DFS. I mean, that makes sense week 1, but no. The Cleveland front line looks good, and I just don't like him as a runner for fantasy. It's so boom or bust, and when he's busting, he is busting, and then he booms twice and ends up being RB15 anyway, and you're like, yeah, because he had 2 good games, but you have to pick those 2 good games out of 16, and it's just Sony Michel is going to be usable for freaking, I don't know, 8-9 games, so you're much more likely to pick a game where he's going to be usable. So I would start Sony, even though I don't like to start Patriots running backs. I much rather have him than Derrick Henry. Brandon, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. Should I start Tyler Lockett or Chris Godwin? Let's see what we got. Pretty even projection. Lower floor for Godwin. Lower ceiling. Lower bust chance, but that's okay when the floor is so different. Higher boom chance, even with a higher ceiling. So it's Tyler Lockett for me here again. He's just edging out these other guys slowly but surely. He's not a top player, but he is in that tier 2 wide receiver with a really good opportunity to have a buttload of targets against a pretty bad defense with a great quarterback. So I will go with him. Chris Godwin has a chance to take off this season, but I think we should go with the proven guy, and I think Tyler Lockett really proved it last season that he can be a number 1. Maybe not, like I said, not a tier 1 number 1, but he can be a number 1. Thank you for that question, Brandon. Goodwin, in your opinion, Jesse, are you talking about Marquise Goodwin in San Francisco, or are we talking about different players? I just want to make sure, because you have Godwin and Goodwin. Yeah, good luck to you as well, John. Happy to have you here today. It feels like forever we had a live stream, so I'm so happy to see so many names from last year pop up here, and this is going to be a staple stream every week in and week out. I hope it's been good video and audio quality, and please check out the links down below for Twitter. If you are on Twitter, you can follow me there at CSD Fantasy. Head to csdfantasy.com for score projections every Thursday, waiver wire every Tuesday, new videos here on YouTube, the live stream 12 p.m. Eastern time on Sundays. I'm aiming to have 2 or 3 video contents come out every week. Well, it will at least be 2. Haven't decided on the 3rd yet, but I'm working on it. And if you want personal score projections for your team or exclusive content, please click the Patreon link and support the channel. It helps so much with keeping everything running and keeping the quality of the content at the highest level. Let's get back into some questions. 10 minutes before kickoff. Let's do this. Momento, Lockett hands down. Yes. Sony or Josh Jacobs, and I'm glad to be back. Yes. So happy to see you again, and I am extremely happy to be back. Sony or Josh, I'm going Sony Michel. Again, rookies don't have a projection, so you have to take my advice with a pinch of salt and take it for what it is, but I'm going Sony. I think he has the better opportunity, even though he has a little bit more risk as well, but it's a better team in general. Poker Lemon, thanks man, made 2 changes from your advice today. Okay, hope that works out. Please let me know on Twitter or comment on this video in after the games and let me know how it worked out. I love to hear everything, how things work out for y'all. It was who said that earlier? It was Shane. He won a championship thanks to the live stream from last year. So please let me know how it works out. Every positive comment just helps me grow and grow more confident in my projections. Every negative comment that my advice didn't work out, that's okay too. It lets me know that I need to work on the algorithm a little bit more. But last year, I believe we were around 75% 84% accurate in the projections, so I'm very excited. I know I've been up to 81, 82 in the past, but it's going to fluctuate somewhere between 72 and 82 week in and week out. So every comment helps me improve. Demetrius, I have Waller in another league, and they say Broncos are bad against tight ends. Should I keep Cowboys defense or still go with Broncos? Waller in another league, and they say Broncos are bad against tight ends. Should I keep Cowboys defense or still go with Broncos? I'm not sure if you have Waller in one league. Should I keep Cowboys defense or still go? Oh, okay. And I would still go with the Broncos. I've done some research on how much it impacts to have a team that is strong against another position. Let me move. I'm still here, everybody. I just go into another page on the stream. I didn't have it written up. It's somewhere deep down in my algorithm how much it impacts how many points the opposing team usually gives up, and it's something like it impacts only 5% of the scoring, so it's not the end of all be all. I know it is for some years where like the Raiders were terrible against tight ends, and last year was Arizona were terrible against running backs, but it tends to even out. 7 minutes. Oh, thank you, Reddick, for keeping track, because it's about to be games. So we're about to round out this stream. But I would say this, Demetrius. If you feel more comfortable going with the Cowboys, you should go with the Cowboys. At the end of the day, fantasy football is about starting what you feel more comfortable with. You can get advice from people like me, but you're the one setting the starting lineup and pressing move or set lineup at the end of the day, and you need to be comfortable with what you do. You can only take in as much advice as possible and make an educated decision, but at the end of the day, you have to make the final one. I would roll with the Broncos, but I know in the past I've gone against my gut feeling, or not my gut, but what I would like to do. And even if you win, you still spend the entire day like, oh, I wish I would have done that, and then you win at the end of the day, but you still have to agonize for so much, and it's just not fun. And fantasy football is about fun. So I'll say start the Cowboys. Freak it. Sandra is me. I'll be here every Sunday, man. Love your stuff. Thank you so much. Happy to hear that. I'm excited to see your name pop up every weekend with a ton of questions. And if you have more questions during the weeks, just hit me up on YouTube or Twitter and just leave a comment, and I'll get back to it as soon as I see it. Jolt Gaming, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. Big Ben or Kirk Cousins? Ben Roethlisberger, Kirk Cousins. Let's see. I think it's going to be Big Ben. Even though yes, it has to be Big Ben. It has the higher floor, higher ceiling, lower bust chance. Sort of the same boom. Well, it's 2% something. I'm still rolling Big Ben over Cousins for week 1. And that seems to be the last question. If you have anything else, let me know right now. Otherwise, I'm going to do some plugs for content coming up. Tomorrow, I'm dropping another Fantasy Snapshot video. I will continue to drop Fantasy Snapshot videos until I run out of them. I think I have 6 more lined up for you. So it will be video content every day for the next 2 weeks, I believe. Tuesday, I'm back with the waiver wire. So be sure to check that out on csdfantasy.com. Wednesday, I'm inviting Nick Faber to join me here live at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We're talking all thoughts about the previous weeks. We have a couple of topics lined up for you as well, where we'll be talking projections, sleepers for week 2, and we tend to go down the rabbit hole pretty deep, so sometimes The show will just end up where it ends up. Thursday, of course, score projection and risk analysis on CSDFantasy.com. That's our staple. It will be out every Thursday for the rest of the season. Friday and Saturday, it will either be a fantasy snapshot video or a head-to-head video. I haven't decided on which day will be which, but it will be video content. And next Sunday, of course, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be back with the live stream. Be sure to check out the Patreon page for more exclusive content and for score projections for your team. Week in and week out, you will get them straight mailed to you. If you join in, every little thing helps. Be sure to check out more video content here. Leave a like, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. Anything helps the channel. I appreciate everybody so much for being here today. This has been a fantastic live stream. So many comments. I hope I helped everybody. If I missed a question, just let me know next time and I'll do better. But thank you so much for being here today, and I will see you again next week.